Hey, shorties, welcome to Under the Covers.
So I guess we found the autotune button.
Oh, yeah, now let me turn it off. There we go. Hey, welcome to
Man,
Under the Covers. Shorties,
that was
shawties.
that was that was that was intense. That was that hit me quick. Hit me right
I'm,
here in the heart.
I'm Charlie, and
I'm
Nick's with
Nick.
me today. We're Under the Covers, and we're back
Oh, wait
for...
a minute. Well, just today? I mean, are you are you freaking doing under the covers with other people?
Oh, you mean with me today? No,
Yeah.
you're the co-host. I'm the co-host. We're the co-hosts together. No
Ah,
other co-hosts.
I
I
see.
promise.
Oh, I thought you were. I thought you had another side thing going on there.
No. I mean, I might once somebody hears my beautiful singing to our all right intro.
Well, I'll hold my breath. How about that?
Yeah.
So we are under the covers. Welcome back. This is episode number 12.
Mm-hmm.
What a long, strange trip it's
It
been.
has been. It's been a fun trip. It's been interesting. It's been exciting. It's been yeah. It's been great being able to keep in touch with you living out of state. So that's another
Yeah,
bonus of this.
absolutely. Um, we're just two dudes that like music.
Mm-hmm.
And we decided to start this podcast and try to figure out a cool format to do and to talk about music. And so the way this works is on Under the Covers is we pick a song, and it's usually a well-known song. Well, it always is a well-known song. And then we talk about what we like about it and about it in general. And then we listen to a cover version of that same song. It's got to be a studio version.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we kind of compare and contrast them. And at the end, we vote which one we like better. Pretty straightforward.
And we have fun while we do it. So do our international listeners.
Man, we are getting quite the international following.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just today we got a Canadian listener. Welcome aboard.
Oh,
Um,
hello up there, eh? I hope everything's going okay.
um, yeah, Germany, Brazil, Portugal, or Panama. That's right. Wait, yeah. Listen to us at the Panama Canal.
Panama.
Yeah. No, and then all our local listeners, friends and family, we appreciate it, and hopefully keep spreading the word.
So, my mom did have some feedback that she couldn't make it through the Valentine's episode because it was
The
how we should say a, a bit racy.
Yeah, we should have done her favorite song.
What song is that?
You don't remember the awkward night at her dining room
No.
table? What
Oh my gosh.
isn't it? I
Yes.
Want
What
Your
song was
Sex
that?
by George Michael.
Yes. When we were playing cards and it wasn't even I Want Your Sex that came on. It was like the extended half-hour version. It was going into realms I could have melted. I wanted that to end so fast, and it
Well,
just never ended.
it's a good song, and I think when it starts out, you don't realize what song it is till it gets going, and because you're like, oh yeah, this song has a good groove, and then, and then all of a sudden it's like you realize what it is and what. But we're
And
not
there's this
talking
one
about
part
that
in the
song.
song. I know there's that one part in that song too where it just starts going sex, sex, and I'm like, oh my gosh, can I? Kings on the Corner. I mean, or whatever we were playing, Rummy. Jeez. But
Oh
today we are not doing I Want Your Sex.
no, we're
I'm excited about today's song.
yeah, it's a good song. It's a fun song. I don't know. It's not a fun song. It's a great song though. I wouldn't say it's fun,
We,
but
yeah, you're keeping everybody on the edge of their seat. Are you gonna say which one song it is?
oh sure, yeah, it's War Pigs by Black Sabbath.
War Pigs,
Yeah.
Black Sabbath. I was gonna paint my fingernails like black today and drink the blood of souls or something like that while we were listening to it because that's what Ozzy would do, or Doves, right?
doves, yeah, bats,
And bats, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And we are comparing it to T-Pain's version of
Hmm.
War Pigs. That came from left field, didn't it?
T-Pain's version. That's kind of why I started the song out on autotune, even though he doesn't use autotune in War Pigs, but he's just well known
Yeah,
for it.
yeah. It absolutely, absolutely. And actually, when we thought about doing this song, we weren't thinking of doing having with T Pain. We were um, going to be doing the Cake version of the
Yeah,
song
I thought
that we
I
were typing
originally
it in.
suggested.
Yeah, and they're not the only two that have done the song. Faith No More and Tesla have done it,
Hmm.
studio versions. So actually, Faith No More, I think they did it on a Black Sabbath tribute album. Tesla did it on a reel to reel covers album, and then there's a Government Mule version out there live and String Cheese Incident
Hmm.
live.
There's
But
also
it's a hell of a song. Yeah.
there's also a version on a Rockabye Baby album. That's lullaby renditions of Black Sabbath, and I listened to
I
about a
forgot about
minute of
those
that song, and I fell asleep because the lullaby.
because that's what you should do when you're listening to
But I remember
rockabye
hearing like
lullaby
frogs,
songs.
like a frog ribbiting in the background at one point. Like and
Really?
yeah, and then puts nature sounds within like xylophone sounds and shit, and bells and
Whoa.
keyboards and so on Spotify I looked up the Rockabye Baby, um like just I Google or I looked in Rockabye Baby, and they have like 100 albums in there, and they're ranging from heavy metal to Outcast and Britney Spears and
Jeez.
like just crazy Katy Perry. I saw like there's so many different ones.
Wow. I knew that there was a Rolling Stones one. That was about the only one I knew of.
Oh, the
Um,
Rockabye Baby.
but mhm.
Have you
Yeah.
heard the Deck the Halls? Somebody put Deck the Halls to War Pigs,
No.
and it flows perfectly like the lyrics. It's pretty great.
Oh, like a mashup, kind of
Well,
like a
no, it's like some dude, he plays it like all the instruments, and he plays it like heavy metal, like this is Black Sabbath's version,
really.
but then he sings the lyrics to Deck the Halls. It's pretty fun.
I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm definitely gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, it's worth it.
So nice. So oh, do we have a sponsor today?
We do, we do. We can get that out of the way and get paid.
Get paid.
Yeah. This week's episode is brought to you by Walpurgis Nightmare, the Black Sabbath board game. Are you ready to plunge headfirst into the twisted realm of Black Sabbath? Get ready for a board game experience that'll make you headbang harder than a sledgehammer. Gather your fellow metalheads and brace yourself to unleash chaos as you journey through heaven and hell, dodging children of the grave like your life depends on it. Prepare to feel paranoid and snowblind as you battle war pigs and pray you don't end up at your own electric funeral. From the desolate wastelands of Planet Caravan to the dizzying wheels of confusion, you'll find yourself falling into the void faster than a knife fight in a phone booth. But beware, danger lurks at every turn. Face off against demons, wizards, witches, and fairies wearing boots as you fight your way to metal mastery. Will you conquer the darkness and rise to the supreme ruler of the riffs, or will you be crushed under the weight of the Iron Man? So grab your dice, crank up the volume, and get ready to rock your way to glory with Walpurgis Nightmares, the Black Sabbath board game. It's time to shred or be shredded.
That was intense.
Yeah, it sounds like a fun game. Might be
Yeah.
Milton Bradley,
Wow.
Parker Brothers. I'm not sure.
Yeah, probably. Walpurgis.
Walpurgis.
What the shit is Walpurgis? I
That's
mean,
that's what Black Sabbath originally wanted to name this song instead of War Pigs. They wanted to
really?
call it Walpurgis, or probably the German pronunciation is Walpurgis. But yeah,
Walpurgis.
so it was based off of a holiday, a pagan festival that
Is that like
celebrated.
is pagan is AKA Satanist
Oh,
satanist?
no, pagan's different than satanic stuff. It's just It's like not a religion necessarily, but it's not
Oh,
Satanism. But a lot of people associate that with that just because it's not Christian or you know that kind of jazz. But basically, they wanted to name it after this because of witchcraft and wizardry, and um, I guess the Church of Satan was founded in 1966 on.
so okay. So let's reel this back in. My original question was: is this like Satan, or is this pagan, this pagan that you speak of, Satanist? And then you're like, no, 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 that's just non-Christian. And then you literally in the next sentence say, oh yeah, this was like the day that
No,
Satanists look as their Christmas or whatever you're doing.
well, it's because of the guy who founded Satanism, the Church of Satan, not because of the holiday. So
Oh,
it's really confusing because the holiday was actually based off of Saint Walpurgis, who was hailed by Christians of Germany for battling pest, rabies, whooping cough, as well as witchcraft. So it's a Christian saint, and they celebrated this holiday because of this Christian saint, but then the Satanists took over,
but
apparently.
again, I'm
No,
gonna
I
stop
could
you
I
to
could
reel this
figure.
back in. So he was a Christian saint, but he's also the saint of witchcraft. I
No,
mean,
no, no,
are
no.
we getting around
Battling,
here? What's going on?
battling against witchcraft. This saint was
Oh, so I get it.
anti-witchcraft.
Makes a lot of sense now. So you're saying that the guy that battled against witchcraft was adopted by the quote unquote pagans to found Satanism? Hmm, sounds logical.
I know. I literally have a note that it's very confusing, and I guess both Christians and Satanists can claim it because it's a Christian saint, but the Satanists are like Hail Walpurgis. So I don't know, but
Oh,
so the brass wouldn't let Ozzy and Black Sabbath name this song that because it has negative connotations.
the brass.
The
Is the
brass, the
brass also kind
man.
of like the man?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They also wanted to name the
Wow.
album War
That was a
Pigs.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah, but they
Or
wouldn't let them do that
Walpurgis.
either. No, well, they had to change it from Walpurgis to War Pigs. I don't know if the song would have became such a classic if it was Walpurgis. DJs might
Yeah,
not wanted to
probably
say
because I
that.
mean, yeah, the Germans would have mispronounced it forever. So you would have this disjointed way to do things, So
Y- Yep.
well, good. I am glad to know that this was. I, I'm gonna have to probably run some fact checks tonight on this lineage, but
Hey, do it,
um,
man. I did my research on it.
hey, hey, do it, hey, do it, man.
Just
So
go in a private browser
um,
because you don't want anybody to know you're Googling Walpurgis.
exactly, exactly. So this was recorded in 1971, and it was the opening track to the second studio album, which was called Walpurgis. No, just kidding. Which was called Paranoid.
Hmm.
Um, I did read that this was recorded only 4 months after the first album. So the first album was kind of a short album, from my understanding. But
Hmm.
um, so they went 1-2 punch pretty quick.
Yeah, yeah. I read that too, where the first album was just so popular that they're like, get back in the studio, record more material. And I also
Just
read
do it. Just
a lot of
like
this
Justin
was
Bieber.
Justin.
Bieber. Did I
Is
say
he the one?
Bieber?
Is he the one who says just do it? I thought that was Michael Jordan.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I kind of blanked out there for a little bit. I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. Um, but yeah, I heard this
So as
track.
you were saying,
Yeah, this War Pigs track in general um came from a lot of different live, you know, jams, and they just kind of built the song off of that, and the lyrics changed drastically from when they first introduced it live to what's on the album. I think they had to
yeah,
tone things down quite a bit because some of the lyrics I read were pretty racy, pretty witchy.
yeah. Well, I'm glad they changed them because I would have hated to hear well Pergas or however fucking Ozzy would say that. Um, um, yeah, I did read that too. That they like the kind of the change ups were all different jams that they would do because they didn't have enough time. They didn't have enough songs to fill sets. So a lot of the different parts of the song were basically built off other jams and things like that. So it shows when you start really listening, breaking down the song down. So
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, one of the things that was interesting about the song that I noticed as I was reading, because I actually just decided, I mean, I read the lyrics obviously when we're going into these things, is that the first two sentences there, Ozzy rhymes masses with the word masses. How about
Mm-hmm.
that?
Yeah, but
It's
they're
an
also
exact rhyme.
different versions of the same word. Two meanings to the one word.
Yep, which is good. Which is I give him a pass, but um, I did find that there were some other songs where artists rhyme the same word. The Chiffons and He's So Fine. He says, He's so fine, gotta be mine. Sooner or later, I hope it's not later. That's trashy songwriting if I've ever heard it. Oh, and then the one hit wonder Deep Blue Something at Breakfast at Tiffany's. And I said, what about that song?
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? These losers do it 3 times
Oh
in
no.
the song. Yeah.
Which word? Which word
But
is
I think
that?
the worst one, I did it. Well, I don't know what one it was. They do 3 words the same time, like 3 times over. So it's 3 times they do it like with the same, not the same word, but different words. But then the worst one that I hate is Kid Rock's All Summer Long. And when in the chorus he says, "And we were trying different things, and we were smoking funny things," and I just would, I think I would like to punch Kid Rock because I hate that song because of that.
Which is that the one where
But
he like samples like Bob Seger or something?
yeah, it's like he samples. It's like Warren
Mm.
Zevon's
Yeah, Werewolves of
"Werewolves of
London.
London" and
That's
"Sweet
right.
Home Alabama." It, it's a whole bunch of stuff. It's like he didn't write anything in that song
Yeah,
except for the one lyric that
that
has the
sucks.
same
That's a
rhyming
bad
word.
song. I don't like that song.
Yeah, we'll never review that song.
No. Well, we just did. It's bad.
It's bad.
So, do you have any
So
more
yeah.
songs?
What else?
Because when I
No,
read,
that's the end of my same.
I can't remember who it was. I don't know if it was like Geezer Butler or Tony Iommi, but I was reading some interview and they brought up that thing about the rhyming masses with masses, and he was just like, "Yeah, well, we couldn't find anything good that rhymed with masses, so we just went with it." So it was truly just
See,
lazy.
that's what's so cool about rock, and that's what's so cool about like rockers back in the day. I mean, they can make a song like this and like give two shits. They're like, fuck it.
Hmm.
And that's one of the greatest. Well, Rolling or Guitar World named it the greatest heavy metal song of all time. So I give them a pass.
Yeah, yeah. And they were doing a lot of the drugs and alcohol, um, as well. And I
At that
actually,
point,
yeah, at that point, and continuing on to recording the next album, I also read that they spent more money on cocaine than they did producing their third album or fourth album. Sorry.
giddy up. Holy moly.
So, so yeah, yeah, they had a problem.
So yeah, this is a anti-war protest song. That's what it feels like. But I
Hmm.
guess the things that I've read with, they weren't really super vehemently against it. They didn't really know because they weren't really in it. But it's definitely an anti-war song when you hear it, and you start really
Yeah.
breaking down the lyrics. Whether it be supposed to be something about Valpurgis or whatever the thing you said, but um,
The
and
man
then
probably,
in the go ahead.
the man probably just forced them to change it from a song about witches to a song about war.
Yeah, the or what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. I heard
Say
that
it
the
again.
other day in an antique store, and I love that song.
Yeah, it's a good one.
So the other thing too is if you look this up on Spotify, it says War Pigs and Luke's Wall, and
Hmm.
Luke's Wall is actually the little instrumental at the end. You talked about this how they kind of built the song out of jams that they did live, um, and that was kind of the the space filler that they would use per Tony Iommi. But man, it's a cool outro.
Yeah.
Kill it.
Yeah. I also read that was only used or only called Luke's Wall on US versions.
Yeah, which is weird.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's for radio purposes or something. They had to have played that. There's no way you could cut that song short.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think you could cut it. You know, like do a radio edit on it. Like it would be awkward.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that should never happen. So Black Sabbath was originally called the Polka Talk Blues Band, and then they changed their name to Earth, which Ozzy hated. And
he's not a big fan of the Earth.
Tony Iommi. No, I litter all the time. Just hating the Earth, use a gas guzzler.
It pisses on monuments by the old Alamo.
Exactly.
He got banned from playing in San Antonio for 10 years for that.
Really?
Yeah, from 1982 could not play in San Antonio.
I mean, if I'm Black Sabbath, I'm kind of like, fuck it, who cares?
Well, Black Sabbath was done by then, or Black Sabbath with Ozzy was done by then.
Oh, well, that was just straight up Ozzy.
That was just Ozzy. Ozzy, yeah, he's been crazy ever since. Probably a young lad.
Yeah, some of the stuff that I read in the Motley Crue's book, The Dirt, when they went on tour with him, where he would snort like ants up his nose and throw shit all over the walls.
Yeah, a dirty old man.
Yeah,
almost killed his wife at one point on a drug-induced blackout.
Jeez,
yeah,
is that Sharon?
Yeah.
Like, how patient does Sharon Osbourne have to be? I know she's probably kind of out there too. I can't say what I was going to say because I can't talk about celebrities the way I would at normal places. But
you say what you want. Nobody's censoring you.
So I was censored by you on like episode 4.
That was because it was Taylor Swift. All right, and then I had some talks with friends and realized it's okay.
But I mean, Sharon's got to have like a crazy amount of patience. I mean, if your husband's Ozzy Osbourne, and I mean, what's the talks like with her kids and stuff? Like, hey, Jack, I got to tell you about the birds and the bees, and then fucking Ozzy comes in and shits on the wall and snorts up ants. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah, no, I agree. It's got to be weird, but I saw a commercial recently, and I think they're trying to humanize Ozzy again because it was
humanized.
Because it's so crazy.
What's happening?
No, this commercial, I don't know what company it was for, but it was this kid, and he's watching TV, and it's Ozzy, and he's like saying, "Grandpa, Grandpa," and you're like, "What the fuck's wrong with this kid?" Well, then it like pans out, and it's like Ozzy's grandkid, and so I don't know.
Oh,
that's about all I got on
like,
that subject.
Warren from Something About Mary or something, or what?
No, he's just like a 3 or 4-year-old kid.
Oh, the way you said that sounded like, Grandpa, have you seen my baseball?
Oh, I was trying to do a kid's voice. I'm sorry. Should have went like this.
That was
Grandpa,
I wasn't...
Grandpa.
There we go. Way better. Because the way you said it was like, I was like, wow, man,
Oh, no, I was not being insensitive to anybody, sorry. Other than children. They don't listen to us anyway. So.
Those stupid children. So, yeah, Tony Iommi actually left Earth and joined Jethro Tull. And he actually makes an appearance on Rolling Stone's Rock and Roll Circus with Jethro Tull. But he was only in the band like a month and didn't like the way it was going. So he came back and rejoined Earth. But he had like a new work ethic. Like, well, Tony Iommi with his finger situation always had probably a pretty good work ethic. So yeah. So
yeah, he chopped them off in like an accident, right? Like growing up, like I'm working on a shop or something.
Yeah, he was 17 years old working in a steel a sheet metal factory, and it was his last day of work. He was
Mm.
quitting his job. He was going to be done, and
It's like
like
the Lethal
smashed his
Weapon
fingers.
situation
Lethal Weapon.
where
Oh
Danny
yeah, it
Glover's
was. That
trying to
was yeah,
retire. It's his last day, and then the fucking terrorists come for him.
yeah, yeah. So Tony Iommi, yeah, he smashed his fingers and sheared them off in this horrible accident. But his buddies at the factory um, were told him to listen to this guy named Django Reinhardt, um, and it's this like jazz musician kind of a guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I listened to it. This guy's really good, but he only played with two fingers because he was caught in a horrible fire accident, which is weird. That's how it's worded. I'm not sure what a fire accident would be. I mean, I could see being caught in a fire
Maybe
or
he was
having your
playing
fingers
with.
burnt.
Maybe he was playing with fireworks with the guitarist from Kansas.
I'm not sure. Yeah, he's. I would rather not have fingers than have to wear a stupid eye patch the whole time, though. Like, even if I was with my cool eye patch buddies, and Left Eye Lopez.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
So yeah, yeah, wah wah wah. That inspired him to keep to keep trying to play guitar, even though he was super depressed. And so he made some thimbles using a detergent bottle and melted them down using a soldering iron and cut a leather jacket to cover him up. Um, so that's the whole story on
Yeah.
his digits, his
That's
things.
he's pretty resourceful there.
Yes, that's a dude that wants to play guitar, and it made it real hard for him to bend the strings. And if you listen to all of Black Sabbath, there's not a lot of like guitar bends. And he used really light gauge strings, and that's also why they like tune down to a lower pitch, um, because it's easier to press the strings down. So if you don't have that feeling, he feels like he had to push super hard. So that's why he was using light strings to have to.
Hmm.
And he was left-handed, so it was, if you ever look at him on stage, his guitar goes the wrong way, kind of like Sir Paul McCartney's.
Nice.
And
Should we give this song a
shit, man,
listen?
yeah, let's listen to it, because I was like thinking, man, this is a for the four people that are in this band: Ozzy, Bill Ward, Geezer Butler, and Tony Iommi. I think this is almost a perfect blend of just what four dudes can do, and it
No,
sounds just
yeah.
like in a room. I mean, they recorded it more or less live, so yeah, let's give it a listen and get all excited about it. And I'm gonna go ahead and get my pagan staff here and my pentagram,
I'll
and
turn on
I
my
know that that's not
Walpurgis
Satan,
lights.
but yeah, you turn on your Wilpurgis lights.
Um,
So yeah, the song is 7 minutes and 54 seconds long, and it has 284 million plays on Spotify. And as you guys know, we can't play this song for you, so there's going to be a nice little interlude, and some sort of angels and devil chant that's going to go on there. By no means is it subliminal messages, but
mm,
I hope you guys enjoy, and we'll be back in 7 minutes and 54 seconds.
that's a hell of a song, eh?
Jeez, that is an awesome, awesome song. Like, from start to finish. It
Hmm.
like the song's broken up into a bunch of parts, but geez, it's like every part is like, this is cool, and then it goes to the next part. It's like, oh well, this is cool too, and but they're all very different. But yeah, that's a killer ending. Except I don't know if I like that little fast forward part though. I wish that would kind of.
How
I
it
wish they didn't
ends
do
just
that.
goes
Yeah,
that.
like the
Yeah.
get high part. But I think that was added afterwards. I don't know if they even had a. That might have been the brass talking.
The man always getting
I
their
wonder what it.
dirty
I wonder
fingers
what
in
it
there.
sounds like. I wonder what it sounds like. I wonder what it sounds like without that. Like I wonder if it's just the.
Yeah. Where it just, yeah, just kind of not a fade out, but it just the instruments just kind of ring for a second, just because he stopped playing them.
Yeah,
But
or like like when a band just kind of goes like I wonder if
hmm
that's what they do. Like I mean,
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know.
that's what I was.
I don't
You,
know.
yeah, you vocalized what I was trying to explain. Um, but fuck,
Uh
that bass in that song throughout is just freaking amazing. Like nonstop, just dang, man.
it's all over the place.
Hmm.
There's parts of that song where I'm thinking this song is gonna mess up because they're all doing their own different thing. They're all doing all these different stuff, and especially the bass line. I mean, he's like doing a solo the whole time, pretty much. So and then so a lot of people have wondered, the second part where there's the guitar stabs, the didn't.
Hmm.
That's if you sit there and try to count that, it's 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 16 beats. So like from the da da, there's 14 more beats before he's gonna go da da again. And like when
Hmm.
I'm in the car all the time, I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, da da. And I'm like, oh, I did it.
Yeah, listening to that, you just it kind of brings you back to, okay, he's keeping time to let everybody know when to go again, and it just proves that, yeah, they just built this live, and just, the way to keep
Yeah,
time to let everybody know when it's time to rock again. But the way the
right, right.
his the cymbal crash too, like when he hits that last one and it just rings in the air, I love that.
Yeah, it does, and that lasts like, I mean, I think 12 beats in itself because I remember listening to that thinking, man, they just let that ring out, and it, you know, the thing is too is with you, so you get heavy metal. And a lot of people have this predisposition saying heavy metal is just loud all over the place and fast and everything like that. This song is not really fast at all. I mean, there's not really any spot in it that's like, oh, this is just fast heavy metal.
Hmm.
And really there's a ton of dynamic to this song. There's slow, there's quiet, there's loud, there's groove, there's jam, there's a little bit of everything. It's just they've they figured out a great way to just blend all their talents. And then obviously, Ozzy's voice just sits up on top of everything because of the high register that he sings in. I mean, it's just they just nailed it. And Black Sabbath as a whole, early Black Sabbath especially, just was a master at the positioning of all the instruments, the groove, the bass lines, the whole 9 yards. So
Hmm.
just killer, just yeah, everything about it. And we were fortunate enough to see Black Sabbath live, with all the four members, and being
Yeah,
there
when
at that show, it was like,
wasn't that
yeah,
reunion
this is
show in 99, I think, 98,
yeah.
99.
And during that show, Ozzy was really wanting to see our fucking hands. He said that like a gazillion times during the show. That was like
Yes.
his.
Oh,
Let me see your fucking hands.
I've heard some live recordings. Yeah, yeah, he says that a lot.
Should be a drinking game. Like, drink every time Ozzy says, "Let me see your fucking hands." So yeah, that's. I mean, yeah, one of the best metal songs of all time. One of the best
Hmm.
rock and roll songs of all time.
Yeah.
And yeah, undoubtedly, if you don't think that, then you're you're probably into. I was going to say witchcraft, but then I was thinking this is definitely going to be your favorite song of all time.
If you don't think that, maybe you're more into speed metal or something, or death metal. I don't know.
Yeah,
But speaking of death, I
yeah.
am 100% surprised that every single member of this band is still alive from the original four there.
Are they really? I thought
Yeah,
Bill Ward died.
no, no. I checked it today because I didn't know if we need to do a RIP or
Wow.
not. But each one is still alive in their mid set. Yeah, yeah.
They all got to be in bad shape, though.
Oh,
I bet you Tony Iommi is pretty good shape, but the rest of them, they,
yeah. I don't know. I think Ozzy
they're
just
probably
released a
hurting pretty
new
bad.
album, didn't he? Like last year or
What?
something. Yeah, I didn't do research, but I think he
Talk
did.
about brass. That sounds like a money grab.
I mean, that's why Sharon's still with him, right?
Speaking of money grab, yeah. Speaking of money grab, our good buddy T-Pain, um, he
Oh,
this
oh,
isn't a money grab, I don't think,
yeah. I was gonna
on top
fight
of
you
the
on that
covers.
one. I don't think this is a money grab.
But what he did the money grab was is he was the first champion of the first season of The Masked Singer. So that was a
Oh,
money grab
oh,
because
did they get paid for
people that
that?
are on that show, I don't know what they get paid. I don't know, probably. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't think any of these guys just show up just to show up.
yeah. I
But
don't
no,
know.
in
I've
20,
never watched those, but I did read that he was. I have that note because I was like, holy shit! I didn't realize that he was even on that show and he was actually the
that
winner.
yeah, yeah, he was the monster, from my understanding. I'm not sure what the monster looked like, but
Probably a monster.
here's a sort of a fun fact. So yes, so obviously, if you guys don't know what the Masked Singer is, these celebrities dress up in these crazy costumes, like not just costumes, but like furries and stuff like this, like sort of crazy big things. And then they sing songs, and then there's a panel of judges that try to guess who the actual singer is. Um, at my old office or at my old work, Charlie, where you work now, we created a robot, this robot costume. It was like this 6 foot robot and this sort of thing. And the guy that made that for us said T-Pain is one of his best clients, and T-Pain collects these weird ass costumes and stuff.
Nice,
So fun fact there. That's inside knowledge. That's not on the internet.
nice.
So
Did he want to buy the robot?
no, I don't think he knew the robot was in existence, but I
Oh
guess he
well.
bought a bunch of because go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say I can reach out to him, but I'm sure that robot's in pieces
Hey,
now. Like I think it got in pretty rough shape after a while.
yeah, it's probably seen better days.
Yeah,
So I guess T Pain goes to some of those cosplay um things and doesn't tell people he's in this costume. So he just walks around with the other cosplay people.
other
I don't know what cosplay people do with these things, but
yeah. So he can just kind of blend in. That's fun. That's cool.
yeah. Oh, yeah. So,
Yeah, because
but
I
yeah,
think
he can sing.
he sure can. He sure can. Usher, I heard a story that Usher once told him that he fucked up music because of the auto tune.
Yeah, that's been very controversial. The use of auto tune as a whole.
Yeah, and I don't. I mean, it definitely he wasn't the first one to use it. Cher from the Believe song, pretty much 10 years prior to when T-Pain started using it was really the first one in real popular music to use it, and then it kind of faded out, got used here and there or whatever, but nothing too big. But yeah, he brought it back. I watched some documentary on Netflix with him on it talking about it, and he was a big fan of like the vocoder with the guitar, your voice through the guitar and everything.
Yeah,
And so he wanted his own thing that would make him kind of stand out. And yeah, so he I guess he didn't know what it was called. Auto tune wasn't a thing where you could just Google it necessarily. Wasn't big and
Hmm.
popular, and because I guess the music industry kind of tried to keep it under covers and things like that. And yeah, he ended up finding it one day and rolled with it.
Yeah, he definitely rolled with it because he actually created a T-Pain app called I
Hmm.
Am T-Pain,
Yeah,
which you could use the auto tune um, when you do karaoke. I think
nice,
I actually own that app.
nice,
Um,
nice.
and the other thing that was interesting is you brought the shares believe up because that was probably that's the I know precipice. I think that everybody looked at using autotune. But our good friend here and major brilliant songwriter Kid Rock actually released Only God Knows Why 2 months earlier than that Cher song, and there was extensive use of
Oh,
the auto tune on that as well.
nice. Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
it's interesting that that you kind of have both of them happen at the same time, but everybody does point to Cher. Um,
Well, I
and
think
then Death Cab for Cutie.
they were anti.
Yeah, they were anti. They actually in the 2009 Grammy Awards they wore blue ribbons in protest of auto tune. So
So root
I
tootin'
think
duty
that
band,
might be.
whatever.
But man, T Pain T-Pain's been around for a long time. Started writing or performing on major records in 2005. Probably actually was a guest on a ton of hip hop records, and that Florida or Florida, I don't know what it is. That low that song
Oh,
he was on that and heavily
nice.
featured there. That's probably his biggest song. Yeah. And then I'm on a boat. I mean,
Yeah,
that one's
that
pretty
one's
popular
pretty epic.
for folks like us.
And then,
Yeah.
yeah, that one's fun. That one's fun. I actually listened to that today because we I knew we were recording this. Yeah, and then he also collaborated with Taylor Swift.
Oh, really?
Yeah, did you hear? You didn't? Do you not? Are you not familiar with this? Because I literally just
No,
discovered it
no, not at
today.
all.
So it's from 2009. Um, basically for the CMT Music Awards, Taylor Swift probably reached out to T-Pain and was like, "Hey, I want to kind of do a parody of my own song, but for her image or for a comedy bit, I don't know." But she did a song with T-Pain called "Thug Story," based off a parody of her song "Love Story," and yeah,
Wow.
Google it. It's worth the listen. I listened to it twice today. And then I printed out the lyrics because there's some cool ones in here. Um, so Taylor Swift sings, "I'm so gangsta, you can find me baking cookies at night. You out clubbing, well I just baked caramel delights. T Swift and T Pain rapping on the same track. It's a thug story. Tell me, can you get with that?" Then she talks about diamonds in her mouth and diamonds on her mic. You can call me T Sweezy. Um,
T Sweezy.
Oh yeah, and then she goes, "What? What? I knit sweaters, yo." Yeah, so it's worth a watch. Yeah, and then T Pain's got a big
That's
old chain,
unbelievable.
and then they made like a video for it too. And T Pain's got like this big like rapper chain, like gold chain. But I think I wish I would have written it down now because I think it just literally said big big gold chain or something like, but it's giant. It's like 2 feet tall. It's pretty funny. It's worth a
Oh my
watch.
god.
Yes, worth a watch. All our listeners, Google that T Pain and Taylor Swift.
I'm gonna listen to it after this. Like literally. I didn't even know that existed.
I didn't either. I just happened to stumble upon it in my research.
So in 2023, just last year, T Pain did this album to feature his voice. Um, and it's a weird ass cover. The cover has T Pain. That's a
This is
painting of T Pain
the sexy
laying in a
cover.
bed with a. It's a sexy cover, I guess, if you're into the pagan stuff. Um, with
Got a
a
rose in his
rose,
mouth.
yeah, and a little champagne thing there. and he could do this because he started his own record company, and he kind of basically said, I can do what I want. So that's
Mm-hmm.
what he did here. So some of the songs include Tennessee Whiskey, uh, Don't Stop Believin', which is a man, you gotta that's a lofty song to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's Life, which I love one. That's Life. I like that one a lot. And then where War Pigs opens the Black Sabbath album, War Pigs closes this record out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sort of the climax, if you will. If you want to look at the front cover or the cover of this album, it'd be his climax, if you will.
Also,
Ozzy tweeted after hearing this version. Ozzy tweeted after this came out that this is the best cover of War Pigs ever, and asked why they didn't call him to participate in the recording of it. So, gets the good housekeeping seal of approval from Ozzy.
so the name of the album is on top of the covers, and we're under the covers. So pretty fun.
Look at that.
Look at that. The symmetry.
Nice. Symmetry. Yeah. Or unity and variety or something like that. Yeah, for sure. So while the original song has 284 million plays, this one has a mere 3.795 million plays. And it's a little bit shorter. It's 6 minutes and 19 seconds. So not quite as drawn out as the original. But I'll tell you this, it's regardless of what we say about it, it's worth a listen for sure. Because I think it'll put it'll change what you always thought about T-Pain for sure. And this whole album is worth the listen just to really get a different perspective on the guy. He does a great job all the way through.
Yeah. Yeah, and another thing with T-Pain is he did a NPR Tiny Desk concert, and that's worth a watch as well. Where he does his originals is just him and another dude, and so it really showcases his voice. This whole the whole auto tune and things, and people like Death Cab and Jay-Z and things like that putting him down for that kind of stuff, really got to him, and so I think he finally wanted to, showcase. Yeah, I can actually sing, produce, write. He's a legit artist. He's not just using auto tune because he can't sing. It's just almost a gimmick, I guess. But yeah, again, no auto tune in his version of War Pigs or the whole On Top of the Covers album.
And that's the thing about art and artists. I truly believe is that he can sing, and also when you think about these modern artists or visual artists that do some splatters on canvas, a lot of them can draw and when they're classically trained like that, you have to be able to work your way into the sort of avant-garde side of this. And so, look, I mean, if he can, put the snuff up there by singing songs like "Don't Stop Believin'" and others, Win the Masked Singer, look, he gets the artistic freedom to be able to use auto tune as a tool. So I don't blame him. I don't fault him for anything that he's done here. But I think we could give this song a listen and start making some judgments on this ourselves.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, hey, yeah, whoa. Lots of woes and hays in this song,
That's a great version.
but it is good. There's there's a lot going on. It's definitely modernized for today's listening audience, where
Mm-hmm.
you there's just a lot going on. I mean, everywhere. So,
Mm-hmm.
but
You got the
I
keys
love
in
the
there.
overdriven voice.
Yeah.
The keys, the keys sound sort of Princess from like Let's Go Crazy. They're kind of this, just yeah. But the overdriven voice, the wall of sound,
Yeah.
there's a lot.
Yeah, and so is so in that first verse where he's singing, it's really, really intense, like distorted, you know, overdriven vocals.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and, and it surprised me that he started that way, and then it wasn't so intense going forward. Kind of liked it, the change, the choice.
yeah. It is, and really at the it's 6 minutes long, so sort of at the 4 minute mark, it definitely changes into a vibe there too. It sort of sounds, kind of takes it from this heavy metal or heavy, almost industrial sound to like sort of a pop song where it kind of loosens up a little bit. And then at the 3:30 second marker, he does this James Brown stuff that just, just, you talk about highlighting his voice, man. He nailed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, it's great. Did you happen to watch the live version of this? So he so
No,
he released
no.
this album, and they did a like a 3 night set of these songs from live from the Sunrose in LA, and
Wow.
so I watched it, and it's great. It's awesome. It's fun. It's cool seeing it. He's got backup singers and everything, and kind of surprising they didn't use him in this song too. At maybe it was just too much, but for this song, but yeah, it's great. But in the live version of this song, he does a I think it's Disturbed where they go ooh wah, ah, ah, ah," and he does that
Oh yeah.
during this song, and I'm like, no, that fucking ruined
You,
it. So I'm so glad he doesn't do it on the
you
studio version of this.
you did that really well. You should do that at karaoke sometime. Just what? I can't even do it.
Nice.
I can only go
Nice.
yeah. Uh, um, the other thing too is he changes the riff a little bit. A lot of the Black Sabbath riffs go down in tone, in semitones, and his kind of rise up, which sort of is a change. But
Hmm.
you know, as I think this is a real, like, almost a perfect cover song because he makes it his own. For better for worse, it's like, I'm going at it. I'm going to make it strong. I
Hmm.
give my nods to the original, but I, you know, just fucking nails it all the way through this thing.
Yeah.
It hypes me up,
Yeah. Yeah. And
and I think that
this
the other.
whole album, on top of
Go
the
ahead.
covers, he was saying, or I read in some of his interviews, that basically every song he chose was because it inspired him through his musical career in one way or the other. Where you know this song
Right.
meant this to him, blah blah blah, all that stuff. So he obviously did this because he enjoyed this song. I also read he saw Jack Black do it on like the Tonight Show or something, and um, so yeah, I mean, yeah, they do a great job. And the guitarist, I couldn't find much about the recording of the actual album in studio,
Yeah.
but at that live from the Sunrose, the group that he played with, I kind of want to assume it's pretty much the same guys he recorded these with in studio. And the guitarist, Kurt Chambers is his name, and yeah, I was blown away by his guitar playing in this version, and so I looked him up on Spotify, and there's not much. He's got some singles out there on there, maybe an album, but it's all country. It's,
Hmm.
so like Hootie and the Blowfish country.
I thought the guitars really sounded like a lot like Slash. I mean, you could tell that this is a
Mm,
Les Paul, probably through a stack of Marshalls or emulator or something like that. But yeah, man, I'm so thankful we did this one just because I think the other covers, the Cake and
yeah,
the Faith No More, I think those
I
were a
w-
little more straight down the narrow.
I think the No More one would have been a veto for me, our first veto, because yeah, that was just too on the nose. The Cake one is just very
Yeah,
cake, very cake. So it's just like
yep,
they just took the song and made it like a cake song. Like T-Pain
yeah,
made this a T-Pain version, but not a T-Pain you'd expect version. So yeah.
yeah. Well, I'm prepared to put my
Oh,
vote in. How about
oh, are you
yourself?
ready for this gong decision?
The Gong of Decision.
I'm
Uh,
ready. You've
so, I was I was telling people about that this week, by the way, the Gong of Decision.
nice, nice. You vote
So
first.
I will go first, and I wrote down notes on this one because I had been thinking about this for the last couple of days, and so the song is Black Sabbath's version is 53 years old today, or well, right now. And I had my son Scott listen to that, and he thought it was badass, right? And
Hmm.
so he was like, "Man, that's really cool." And I was thinking about this. So when I was his age, when I was 14, a song that was 53 years old at that time was Somewhere Over the Rainbow. So why I say that is that the song really holds up, right?
Hmm.
To sound as good as it does today as it did when I was 14 and probably in 1970. T-Pain, I would never in a gazillion years thought he would do this song. And when I was telling people that we're we're doing T-Pain, they're like, "Wait a minute, they like, have total input error on this." I dig much of it in pieces, but I tell you when it comes down to it, it's a lot in 6 minutes. It never really lets up, and it's just kind of a lot going on, and it's definitely 11 the whole time, which makes me get kind of fatigued at the end of it. And when it's all said and done, when you have Black Sabbath, and four guys that were master craftsmen at each one of their instruments and their vocals, they all get to say something in the Black Sabbath version that provides a lot of interest.
Hmm.
Whereas when the Team Pain version, he's trying to carry the song all by himself, and so I kind of made a joke about the yas and woes, and but on the same token, he's trying to highlight himself, and that's not a problem because it's his album. But when it's all said and done, I go back to the one of the greatest metal songs of all time, and it's Black Sabbath all the way to me.
Nice, nice. All right.
I'm never gonna get used to that. I don't think.
So, um, yeah, all your points to the Black Sabbath version are spot on. It's an amazing song. It's one of the best songs, metal songs ever. Um, Everybody is featured in it in their own way. The bass in it is amazing. I love the drum fills. I love the guitar riffs. Ozzy's vocals are great. It is the better song of these two versions by far, and it holds up, and it will continue to hold up for 53 more years and longer.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That being said, um, like I said, it is the better song, but we're choosing our favorite version and put a lot of thought in this and a lot of listens between the two versions. And today, my favorite is T-Pain.
Whoa! Dang, that's crazy.
Did not think I would go that way. I'm a big fan of Black Sabbath. I've liked their music since I was a teenager. Um, this song is obviously one of my favorites of theirs as well. Probably, a lot of people's. I did not think I'd pick T-Pain, but the more I listened to it, the more I was like, yeah, I want to listen to this version more. Again, in
Nice,
a month, I might change my mind, but as of recording, T-Pain wins.
nice. Well, good man. That's killer. One thing I'll add here is as sort of a postscript before we kind of get ready to sign off is that all through my life, I've used music as a way to jog memories and, you know, kind of get me through life. And, different bands I would listen to would always have, trigger those memories. And Black Sabbath, and specifically War Pigs is one that I always think of your dad.
Hmm.
And every time the song comes on, I think, gosh dang, he was so cool, and I
Yeah.
had such a great time with him while he was alive. And
Well, how?
so
how
I feel like this. Go ahead.
well, no, I was just gonna say how I used a Ozzy Osbourne lyric in my little eulogy. See you on the other side.
Yeah,
At his funeral. So,
there
so
you
no,
go.
I know exactly what you're saying.
So yeah, it's good. I kind of think that this episode here is a little tribute to him, and just it's good to have those memories. And all the last couple weeks here listening to this song, I was thinking about him a lot. So that's it's a great thing to feel. And you always be alive in those memories. So
Yeah, somewhere he's shaking his head at me for picking T-Pain, but you
yeah, he's probably like, whoa, yeah, no, no. So
uh,
all through auto tune.
we want to thank
So
everybody for listening to us, continuing to support us and give us feedback. Truly appreciate it all our continued listeners, new listeners. We truly appreciate it. Hopefully, you keep listening. We're on all the different platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, Amazon, YouTube. So yeah, keep
absolutely,
bringing on the feedback. We appreciate it. We love doing this.
absolutely. Well, thanks everybody. We'll talk to you next time.
Yep, love y'all.